Okay, so tonight we're going to continue with Yigdal, the last third of Yigdal, starting with the line that corresponds to the 10th of the Maamins. The last chelek of the Maamins talk about the belief in schar v'oinish, that we're accountable for everything that we do, and we're up to the line in Yigdal that starts Tzoife v'yoidea sisarenu, that Hashem sees and knows our hiddenmost secrets. Mabit l'soif davar b'kad masai, Hashem looks and perceives the outcome of something b'kad masai, at its inception. And this is of course keneged the Maamins, the 10th Maamins, sha'aboyre yisbarach shema yoidea kol ma'aseh b'nei adam v'chol machshavoisam, which means Hashem knows everything that we do and everything that we think. That's tzoife v'yoidea sisarenu. So it's not just the actions that we do that Hashem sees, but also the machshavos of a person have to remain pure as much as possible. We have to stay away from hirhurim ram, from machshavos of aveira, and that's what it says here, that Hashem is soife v'yoidea sisarenu. The 11th one is goimel leish chesed kemifaloi noisein larasha ra k'rishasai. Hashem pays back a person chesed, with kindness, kemifaloi, according to his actions. And he gives a rasha, a wicked person, ra, bad, punishment, kirish asai, like his wickedness. And this is of course the concept of schar v'oinish. When a person does good, Hashem gives him chesed, kimif alai. When a person does bad, Hashem gives him ra, kirish asai. And this is keneged the 11th of the Maamins. Mamin b'emunah shalema she'aboyre yisbarach shemai goimel toiv l'shoimrei mitzvaysav umanish la'ovrei mitzvaysav. Someone who violates the mitzvahs, Hashem punishes, and someone who keeps the mitzvahs, Hashem rewards. And the reason that this is one of the principles of faith, it's so important, is because this is what keeps us in check. We know that the Rebbeinu Shalom rewards us la'asid lavai. We're not supposed to serve Hashem al menas l'kabel pras, but knowing in our minds and in our hearts that Hashem is going to give us a reward for good things, that helps encourage us to do the right things. And knowing that there is accountability and that we're going to be punished in this world or the next world, that we're going to be punished for averas, so that makes sure that we stay away from the averas. And then the exciting and encouraging part of the Maamins is represented in the last two lines of Yigdal. Yishlach lekeitz hayamin mishichenu. Hashem is going to send our Mashiach, the Mashiach that we've been waiting for. Lekeitz hayamin. Lekeitz hayamin means at the end of days. One could wonder, the word yamin sounds like it means something to do with the right hand. If it would be the end of days, it should say it with a mem, lekeitz hayamim. But the song is based on a pasuk at the very end of Daniel. The last pasuk in Sefer Daniel, Parak Yud Beis, pasuk Yud Gimel, says v'samoid legayrolcha lekeitz hayamin. It refers to the end of days as keitz hayamin, and you could see in the Mefarshim there why it's called keitz hayamin and not keitz hayamim. But that's what the poet who wrote Yigdal Elikim Chai is referring to when he says l'shlach lekeitz hayamin mishichenu lifdo, to redeem mechake keitz yeshuasai, those who are waiting anxiously and longing for the final salvation. So it's not mechake keitz, it's mechake keitz yeshuasai, those who are waiting for the keitz Yeshua, the final salvation. And the mashmos of this encouraging and exciting line, yishlach lekeitz hayamim mishichenu, that we all believe that Hashem is going to send us the Mashiach. Liftois mechake keitz yeshuasai, the mashmos, the scary mashmos of this line is that Hashem will only redeem the mechake keitz yeshuasai, those who are waiting for the keitz Yeshua. And I remember many years ago when I was learning in the Mir Yeshiva, so Rabbi Fal Shmulevitz Zatzal, the son of Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, so he gave a shmuz right before Tisha B'Av, it was in the 9 days, and he said that this Yisoid that's mevur in this line in Yigdal, that Hashem is going to be paida only those who are mechake keitz yeshuasai, is really a mefurish Gemara. It's a Gemara in Tainis Daf Lamed Amid Beis. The Gemara is a famous Gemara, but only one half of the Gemara is famous, and not the second half. The first half of the Gemara says, Kol hamisabel al Yerushalayim zoiche v'roya b'simchasa. This is the famous half that most people hear at some point during the 3 weeks or the 9 days, that anyone who is misabel, anyone who mourns properly on the Churban of Yerushalayim, zoiche v'roya b'simchasa, he will be zoiche to see in the simcha of the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash and of Yerushalayim. But the second half of the Gemara is equally as important. V'she'enoi misabel al Yerushalayim, if someone is not misabel properly on Yerushalayim, enoi roya v'simchasa, then he will not see the simcha. And that Rabbi Rafal Shmulevitz pointed out that everyone learns from this Gemara the great schus, that if a person is misabel al Yerushalayim, zoiche v'roya b'simchasa, Zakar Rafal Shmulevitz asal, it's a schus, but it's also a t'nai, it's also a prerequisite. You have to be misabel on Yerushalayim, because it says in the Gemara, kol she'enoi misabel al Yerushalayim, then enoi roya v'simchasa. And that's what he brought out from this tefillah, this piyut of Yigdal, that it says liftoitz, the redemption will come to who? To those who are mechake keitz Yeshua sai. There's a piece in the Siddur of Rabbi Yaakov Emden, in the Siddur Beis Yaakov, which we've quoted a number of times, the Siddur of the Beis Yaakov, but one of his most well-known pieces is in the Dinei Tisha B'Av. If you look it up in the Siddur Beis Yaakov, it's kedai to see it as we approach the days of Bein HaMetzarim and the 9 days. It's on page Shin Yudalit in the Siddur Beis Yaakov, where he says that he believes, Rabbi Yaakov Emden writes on his own, that he believes that the reason for the Arichos HaGolus is because Ein Misablim Al Yerushalayim Karoi, because Klal Yisrael is not misabel properly. We get too comfortable sometimes in the Golus, and because we're not misabel in Yerushalayim, that itself is enough of a reason for Hashem to delay the rebuilding of Yerushalayim. And the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah Daf Lamed Amud Aleph and in Sukkah Daf Mem Aleph Amud Aleph says that when the pasuk says in Yirmiyah Lamed, Tzion he doiresh ein la, the Gemara says Michlal debaya drisha, that Tzion requires drisha, that we should seek it out, that we should be longing for the rebuilding of Yerushalayim. That's a prerequisite for the Gula. Michlal debaya drisha, that we're supposed to be doiresh Tzion, we're supposed to want and ask Hashem every day. And in the Nusach HaTfilah we do ask Hashem for binyan Yerushalayim, for the coming of Mashiach in many different shapes and forms. We ask this throughout the davening and in Shemona Esrei, but we have to make sure that tefillah is avodah shebelev, that we are taka machake keitz Yeshua asai. Then we'll be zoiche. Then and only then we will be from the people who are zoiche v'raya b'simchasa. What's interesting is that the Ani Maamin that this is corresponding to is the most famous of the Ani Maamins, because it's the most exciting prediction of the future, and there's many songs memela on this Ani Maamin. But the Ani Maamin is the 12th one, Ani Maamin be'emunah shalema b'vias HaMashiach, that we believe in the coming of the Mashiach. But interestingly, in this Ani Maamin, we add a few words. Va'afal pisha yismameya, even though it has delayed, im kol ze achak eloi b'chol yom sheyavoy. Even so, I wait, I anticipate, I still wait for the Mashiach, even though he has delayed to come. Nevertheless, we still are machake every day. And this is again stims with this nusach of liftois mechake keitz Yeshua, stressing the importance of being mechake liyeshua, mitzapeh liyeshua. But what's interesting is the Rambam is writing 13 principles of faith, Yud Gimel Ikrim. So the principle of faith is Ani Maamin be'emunah shalema, that Mashiach will come. Why does the Rambam start getting very emotional now and say, even though it's delays, I'm still waiting for it? That's not an inyan of faith. That's not an inyan of belief. Don't forget, we said from the memory from Reb Chaim that the reason that these Yud Gimel Ikrim are Ikrim is because these things a person has to believe in order not to be considered a kaifer. Even if he's mistaken, if he's not educated, nebachanapi kairis is eichanapi kairis. And therefore we have to train ourselves to know these 13 principles of faith, to believe it and to think about it at all times. So l'chayra included in that is bias HaMashiach. But why is the afal pisha yismameh im kol zeh achak eloi? Let's say I'm not waiting for Mashiach. I believe that it'll come, but I'm not excited about it. L'chayra, I'm not a kaifer. A kaifer is someone who doesn't believe it, not someone who doesn't wait for it. But the answer is mefurish in a Rambam. I want to share with you an eye-opening Rambam. The Rambam says in Hilchos Malachim, Perek Yud Aleph, Halacha Aleph, HaMelech HaMashiach Asid Lamoid Ulahachzir Malchus Beis David Liyoshna. When Mashiach comes, he's going to then return the Malchus Beis David as the way it was. Uboine Mikdash. Some interesting Rambam that the Rambam says that Mashiach is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. Probably it doesn't mean Mashiach himself, but Mashiach together with a whole team of builders is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. Unlike Rashi Shita in the Gemara, as we just mentioned in Rosh Hashanah and Sukkah, the Rashi says the third Beis HaMikdash is going to come down fully built already from Shemayim. The Rambam says that Mashiach is going to orchestrate the binyan Beis HaMikdash. Umekabetz Nidchei Yisrael, he's going to gather all the dispersed people in Klal Yisrael. Now listen carefully to this line of the Rambam. V'chol mi she'enoi ma'amin boi, anybody who does not believe in Mashiach, oi mi she'enoi mechake lebiasai, or someone who does not wait anxiously for his arrival, loi b'shar nevi'im bilvad hu kaifer, he's not not just kaifer in the Nevi'im, ela b'Torah uva Moshe Rabbeinu. He's kaifer in the Torah and Moshe Rabbeinu, and he brings psukim in the Torah, the words of Moshe Rabbeinu that show that Mashiach is going to come. Says the Rambam clearly, not just misha einay ma'amin boy, but oy misha einay mechake lebiyasei. That means even if you do believe it, but you don't anticipate the coming of Mashiach with excitement, with anticipation, so then that person is bichlal a kaifer. That's what it says, that he's considered a kaifer if you're einay ma'amin boy or einay mechake lebiyasei. It's very meduyik then, the Yud Gimel Ikrim, based on the Rambam, ani ma'amin b'emunah shalema b'vias HaMashiach. Not just that I believe it, but I'm kol zeh achak eloi, because that tzipiyah liyeshua, that waiting anxiously for the arrival of Mashiach, is something that makes a person into a ma'amin, and that's something that it's kedai to think about as we enter the days of the Bein HaMetzarim and the 9 days, that we have to not just believe that Mashiach is coming, but we have to inspire ourselves to long for Mashiach, to learn about the Beis HaMikdash, and to reawaken that longing for Mashiach. The final line of the song of Yigdal is Meisim Yechaya Kel. Hashem will be Mechaya Meisim Beroiv Chastoi, with great kindness. Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tehilasai. We end the song with praising Hashem's name. Hashem's name should be blessed forever and ever. The Shem Tehilasai means the praised name of Hashem should be blessed forever and ever. And in the final Ani Maamin, Itaka says, "Shetia tchias hamesim be'is sheyal rotzain me'is habayri yisbarach shemoy," that there will be tchias hamesim when Hashem wants. But then it ends off also with the praise of Hashem, me'is habayri yisbarach shemoy v'yis'ale zichroi la'ad u'lenetzach netzachim, that Hashem's memory, Hashem's mention, Hashem's name should be remembered forever and ever, and should be praised forever and ever. When is tchias hamesim going to happen? It's unclear. Different Mamorei Chazal, the Klal Gadol to know what this is, what it says in the Rambam and Hilchas Malachim, Perek Yud Beis. Halacha Beis. V'chol elu hadvarim v'kayotze behen. All these things about Tchias HaMeisim, when each thing is going to happen. Lo yeda adam heich yiu ad sheyiu. We won't know exactly what's going to happen until it actually happens. Ve'ein Siddur havayas dvarim elu v'lo yidiktukei an ikar hadas ela yechake v'yamin b'chlal hadavar. Don't worry exactly what's going to happen first. The Tchias HaMeisim and la'asid lavai and all the different things that are going to happen. You could learn about it and see what Chazal say about it, but you don't have to come to a clarity and come to a maskana, because lo yeda adam heich yiu ad sheyiu. No one could be certain how it's going to happen until it actually happens. And the Oisver of the Rambam stems with what we just said in the other Rambam, ela yechake v'yamin b'chlal hadavar, not just to believe, but to be mechake keitz yeshuasai. And that's something that as we end off the song of Yigdal and end off the limud of the Ani Maamin, that's something that's so important, that the Tchias HaMeisim is something that we have to hope for, something that we have to long for. And at this point it's taka kedai to mention the piece of the Ritva at the very end of Tainis in Lamed Amid Beis. The Ritva says that besides the Tchias HaMeisim, which is going to happen la'asid lavai, which the Rambam says we don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but that's going to happen after the Yemais HaMashiach. There'll be a tkufa called Tchias HaMeisim. Says the Ritva, when Mashiach comes and the Beis HaMikdash is built, there's going to be a special Tchias HaMeisim. La'oison shemesu begalus v'chiku liyeshua, to all those people who died in the galus and they were taka mechake keitz yeshuasai. So besides the mass Tchias HaMeisim that there's going to be in la'asid lavai, which we learned in the bracha and Shemona Esrei of Tchias HaMeisim, that there are sources in Chazal, the Gemara in Tainis Daf Zayin is mash like this, that Tchias HaMeisim is only going to be for tzaddikim, not for rishaim. But either way, it's going to be for a lot of people who are in the gather of tzaddikim. But at the same time, there's going to be a first Tchias HaMeisim that's not going to be on such a wide scale, but the people who are be'emes mechake keitz yeshuasai, they're going to have a Tchias HaMeisim right away when Mashiach comes. And this is something that's very encouraging, because we think that if the Rambam himself, who wrote the Ani Maamins, if he wasn't enough mechake keitz yeshuasai, that he didn't see the Simchas Yerushalayim and the Chavetz Chaim and the Vilna Gaon and all these great tzaddikim, they didn't make it to be mechake keitz yeshuasai because they were in Zeicha V'Raya B'Simchasa. So how could we do it? But the answer is that they will be Zeicha V'Raya B'Simchasa. They didn't do it in their lifetime, but the Ritva is saying that there's going to be a special Tchias HaMeisim, that they're going to be Zeicha to be Raya V'Simchasa. And I'll just be mitzayin to you, Rabbi Chanan Vasserman, in his Sefer Kovetz Shiurim Chelik Beis Siman Chaf Tes, brings this Yesod of the Ritva in the name of the Tshuvas Radvaz. The number that's mentioned there, the Siman that's mentioned there, is not accurate. It says where the Tshuvas Radvaz is. I looked it up, it's not in that Tshuva, so I have yet to find. If anyone can find that Tshuvas Radvaz, I would love to have that Maramakam. But Rabbi Chanan brings it down from Chelik Beis Siman Taf Reish Mem Daled. I don't believe it's there, at least not in my print of the Radvaz. was. But Al Kalpanim, Rebbe Chanan brings a nice raya to this from the Gemara in Yuma, Daf Hey Amid Beis, because the Gemara says there in Yuma, Ketzad Malbishan, how do you do exactly the Levisha of the Big Day Kahuna? And the Gemara says, well, why do we care what it was? So the Gemara says, no, we want to know how it's going to be. Ketzad Malbishan La'asid Lavoi. How are you supposed to wear the Big Day Kahuna La'asid Lavoi? So the Gemara says, La'asid Lavoi, you don't have to worry about. Moshe and Aaron are going to come and they're going to teach us. So Zakra Rebbe Chanan, what do you mean? When Mashiach comes and the Beis HaMikdash is built, there's not going to be Tchias HaMeisim yet. So Rebbe Chanan says it must be that for those people who were Mesu, Mitzapel Yeshua, and Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen, for sure they go into that gather of Mitzapel Yeshua, they're going to have the Tchias HaMeisim already, even before the mass Tchias HaMeisim where everyone is going to come back. So Rebbe Chanan is Mitzayin this Gemara in Yuma as a makar to the Etzem Zach that there's going to be some level of Tchias HaMeisim already right away, B'Yemois HaMashiach. B'Al Kapanim, with this we are Messiahim, the song of Yigdal, and the Mitzvah Hashem, the Yigdal, the Tefillah of Yigdal, the Piyut, the Shiur of Yigdal, and more importantly, the Ani Maamins. And I say more importantly because as we mentioned in the first year in Yigdal, it's not so pashut whether it's advised to say Yigdal. The Shla Kodesh is very praising of this piyut, and he says it's wonderful to say it every day, but the Arizal was mazi that we shouldn't add it to the tefillah, we shouldn't say it every day. But either way, to think, as you maybe look with your eyes through the piyut of Yigdal, or to say the Ani Maamins every day, to think about it, to make sure that we're not chas v'shalom in the gather of kaifrim, that we're in the gather of ma'minim, and to be considered a ma'min and not a kaifer is not just to believe in all these things, to believe in the yichud Hashem, to believe in the Torah's emes, the authenticity of Torah and the Nevi'im, and to believe in the schar v'oinish, which will keep us in check here in this world. Ultimately, the belief and the longing Yeshua, the tzipisa Yeshua, to be mamin and machake keitz Yeshuasai, that will bring us to the days of Yemois HaMashiach and Tchias HaMeisim. We should all be zoicha to be from the people who are zoicha v'roya b'simchasa.